Hi, my name's Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man. And today I'm going to make a very interesting video. This might be one of the shorter videos, especially because I'm at a very specific spot and water taxis do pull up, so I might have to be hopping and skirting around. Now, this video is all about telepathy. This is an actually really important video. And what is telepathy? And I'll teach you guys how to use this gift correctly, because this is an overrated gift. And I'm not just saying that to say that, I'm saying that based on what I have seen from facts, not opinions. It's not you reading people's thoughts and that's a fun thing. It's you reading people's thoughts and you picking up thoughts that are not even yours, thinking they're yours, and you getting stressed out. Now, what is the gift of telepathy? Everyone has it. We cannot communicate without telepathy as people during conversations or at all. We all use telepathy to a degree, or we would not be communicating. When there's a conversation between someone else, and there's a whole bunch of birds above me. Look how cool. Two things that always flies above and around me is, and I can tell you, animals and humans can communicate very interchangeably. Birds always fly in circles above me, wherever I go, and bees always fly up to me in my hair, in my beads, etc. The birds and the bees. That was not meant to be that. That's hilarious. I just thought that just occurred to me. But I'll talk about animal telepathy in this video as well. But telepathy is really cool. Telepathy is all about communication without using your verbal words. It's about communication through the third eye, through the conscious mind, through your spiritual gift set. But people hype it up to be something that it's not. People think telepathy is this magical, mysterious thing, but when you actually know what telepathy is, it's very simple and it helps you tap into that gift, and you should not be using this gift on other people actively, and I'll tell you why. The biggest reason why, and I'll also name other reasons why in this video as well, but the ability to hear, and I'll teach you guys how to hear people's thoughts, but I'm not going to teach you an in-depth video because my angels won't allow that. But when you hear people's thoughts, you think they're your own, because there are certain spiritual laws indicating free will that when we hear someone else's thoughts, they can't override our thoughts into us thinking they're theirs, if that makes sense. Same thing, that's how a guide communicates with us, is basically we'll hear our thoughts. Now, when you look at this, is the easiest way to ever telepathically communicate with someone. We accidentally do it anyway. When you get a good vibe from someone, when you get a bad vibe from someone, you look at them and you feel something right away. People will hear a word in their head and not know they heard the word. And sometimes, like, I'll flat out hear people's thoughts and I'll just be like, and I'll start laughing and people are like, why are you laughing? I'm like, never mind. Because I'll tell you one thought, because this is a construction worker. I have long hair, and the first word I heard in the dude's head was chica, and I'm like, what? No, that's not it. I'm a man. I have muscle. But it was kind of funny. I think with the gemstones or something, I don't know. My law of gender is balanced, okay? Masculine and feminine are both in perfect alignment, especially when it comes to universal laws. I am in balance, but I just thought that was hilarious. And sometimes this might happen to some of you as well. But you'll look at someone and you'll have a word pop in your head so fast and then leave. That's how it should be. That's how telepathic communication goes. When someone's usually talking about you out loud or thinking about you, their name will pop in your head. That's what that is. Or if your guides are suggesting you communicate to that person, that actually can vary because it has 100,000 different reasons. So if you're meant to talk to that person in the near future, they'll pop in your head. If the person's doing something behind your back, they'll pop in your head, but not in a good way. If you need to get help from the person, they'll pop in your head, etc. And this is awesome and amazing because this will help some of you stop craving the telepathy gifts, because it's the most simplistic gift ever. If you want to hear full thoughts and full conversations, it takes more development, but even then, it really can bum a person out to hear other people's thoughts, because you'll realize most people are not thinking very often, and that's the saddest part about the gift. I remember when my gift of telepathy fully developed, I actually got bummed out. I'm like, no one's really thinking anything. People are just That's the hardest reality to accept, is a lot of people are in sheep mode. A lot of people who have not opened themselves spiritually or denying themselves a spiritual awakening. And most importantly, a lot of people who are not moving themselves closer to God are empty. They've trained themselves to not feel. They've trained themselves to feel void. They've trained themselves to stop feeling. And their thoughts will be as if they're in anesthesia mode, which someone who's in anesthesia, it's kind of like what they describe as the underworld in the Bible, Sheol, if I'm saying it correctly. I can never say it correctly. Sheol. I have to find the original word for that one, but it's as if they're like in a slumber. That's one of the toughest things about telepathy, is most people are not thinking thoughts, and it's horrible. People who overthink thoughts tend to be the most successful ones, also the more gifted ones. And if you're someone who's overthinking and you're watching this video, you're like, yeah, me. Versus some people don't realize they don't think. And sometimes you could just see it on people's faces, like, hey, this person's not thinking. If you ever see people who do crimes, if you ever see people who are always just going with the flow of life, their face is like this. And it's as if lights on and no one's home, but no one's actually home because they haven't had their spiritual awakening. What is a spiritual awakening? It relates to you having more thoughts, you being more conscious about things. But a lot of these people in this world are just not conscious. So when you begin to hear people's thoughts, they're a lot more simple than you think. That's not a good example. I look down the street and I see a woman. 2 words I hear in my head is school and job. You can put the two together, so you can start tying them together. This gift is not meant to read people. This is not meant to be invasive. A lot of people will, and people who try telepathy on me, I don't teach you guys on telepathy guards, so people can't read your thoughts, because I'm going to teach you how to read people's thoughts. And for the people learning stuff from me, my angels do check out people who are trying my methods and tell me what's going on. So you won't be able to ever use my information or knowledge for abuse, especially because I pray over the knowledge that I teach to not be used for bad. So if anyone tries to use it for bad, it just backfires. And one way you know that you're using it incorrectly or you're not meant to use it is if you start getting headaches. That's about it. And that's the initial sign. It's like, hey, don't do this, or your head will start feeling weird. Now, telepathy is a beautiful gift because how should we practice telepathy? We should do it when communicating with someone. That's the most appropriate way to do, not try to force read people without the permission. You walk up in a conversation and someone's telling you, hey, I'm doing amazing, I'm doing awesome, but you can hear in their head crisis or something like that. Start asking the person if they're really okay. Start trying to feel, and then maybe you can help. Maybe you can help, but at least you had a feeling and you asked. Sometimes that won't be up to you and you won't have that message because your guides block it because it's not up to you to do. Now, telepathy is everything. When you talk to someone in a conversation, where lies the balance? Because in law of attraction, someone's usually tugging the rope, and someone's like, there's like a tug of war between telepathic thoughts and conversations. No, I just have people watching me over there. But you shouldn't. You can actually lose grounding of yourself if you try to read people's thoughts too often. Now, if you start trying to telepathically read people actively, so there's 2 types of telepathy. There's active telepathy, and there's passive. Passive just happens to spiritual people without them knowing, but if you know it, then you're fine. If you know, okay, so for example, a lot of you, and this is not just telepathy between humans, it's telepathy between angelic guides and between spirits, sometimes demonic guides. If you're in a bar and you're trying to hear people's thoughts, you're hearing demons. Like, you're flat out hearing demons. Because these things go in bars, and they go in clubs, and they know what's up. They know energy grounds. And people are like, oh, demons, no, they don't come here. Yes, they do. Yeah. It's not a question. It's a fact. They show up, okay? Some more than others, but yeah. And not every demon's mean either, so. During passive telepathy, you'll kind of feel things. You'll kind of, everyone has different, you won't have the gifts like someone else does. Everyone's gifts will be 100% different. But when you understand that this is a very necessary skill to have, and how else can you use this in active telepathy? When do you use active telepathy? Now, if you have an animal, you can use active telepathy to hear your animal's thoughts. They're very simple thoughts as well, and they're very beautiful and just Very simple. Animals have to be the easiest telepathy parties to communicate with. Like, for example, if you see a dog, they might say water, or a walk, or food, or poop, or a bathroom. If you see a cat, it's probably I actually haven't tried it on many cats, but you'll hear like the most simple of words, and those are just frequencies of the words translating to that actual word, so it might not actually be that word. For example, a cat at the beach, I heard what. That's it. I don't know what else to expect from a cat, but don't expect anything. Just let it come through naturally. Now, with active telepathy in animals, you can actually tell if your animal is not telling you something sometimes. And when are you supposed to use active telepathy? You're supposed to use active telepathy to really help someone if you're meant to help them. For example, if it's a family member or a close friend, and they're not telling you or not able to communicate what's happening with them. Got people in the background. But when they're not fully telling you everything that's going on, then you can use it and be like, okay, I understand this is happening. Don't be obvious about the telepathy, or your guides will continue to block it, because it's intrusive to be like, okay, yeah, I know that you were bullied in high school, and this is why you're acting like this, and don't do that. That's not cool. It's invasion. Now, you'll do it to help people, but you're not supposed to be invasive. A lot of people will actually take the dark route when it comes to telepathy, and instead of actually hearing other people's thoughts, they'll hear the spirits of other people's thoughts, and they'll go mad, and they'll actually not hear the thoughts. Everything will be inaccurate, and they just won't get it correct. That's another thing too. Be careful when you try to telepathically, or I mean, even in general, sometimes people will come home from a bar or a club or someplace when they're out, and they'll have really bad thoughts. What are bad thoughts? It's telepathy between a dark entity and you. Yeah, that's what that is. So when telepathy, you should primarily use this gift with guides, and the angels that are around you, your guardian angel. Now, you'll hear their thoughts. It'll become more over time, but then you'll start hearing them in your physical ears, and after that, it'll make sense to you. But what do I mean by an angel's voice in your ears? They actually speak in your ears after you hear their thoughts for a while. So work on that connection with your guide. So practice this gift in a light-fulfilled way. Ask God to guide you in how you can use this gift, because if you're using this gift incorrectly, things will get crazy. It's kind of like Moldavite, but not in a good way. So don't abuse this gift. Use it to help people. Don't try to go reading people's thoughts. The last thing I ever want people to do in this video, or desire the people in this video to do, is go out in the world trying to read people's thoughts. I would just like you guys to understand what this is and why it's overrated to try to actively read people's thoughts. This is not American Horror Story. This is not Netflix TV or whatever. I don't watch TV, but don't try to actively read people's thoughts. It's not a game. People's thoughts are not a game. People's emotions are not a game. So we use this ability to heal people and to help people, especially animals. Practice this on animals, on birds. You can actually grow closer to an animal like this. I would highly suggest you practice this with your angels. You can take an Uno card deck, and you can show the one side to your angels, point it away from you, and you can look at the back of the card and you say, okay, what card's this? And they'll tell you things. They'll be like, oh, it's blue, or like flip it in reverse, or like they'll just, sometimes if they can't get a message through to you, they'll play a song, because that's sometimes the only way. Because some of you will get the messages, and you'll be like, okay, I'm getting the messages. Versus some people are like, I don't hear anything. When you say you don't hear anything, or you don't feel anything when you're hearing people's thoughts, you're putting too much expectation on it. Usually the voice that you hear from other people's thoughts, or your angel's thoughts, or animal's thoughts, is a very quiet, I'll give you an example. It goes like this. That's how quick the thought is. That's how quick it is. So, and you know how quiet it is? It goes very quiet. So you have to kind of catch them. It's not very quick. And this is how your guides can give you their names. This is how you can find out what's going on. Visions are different than telepathic thoughts, but use this for good. Like I said, this is something we all do regardless, because when we talk to each other, we have to kind of feel the emotions in the conversation. And if someone stops feeling the emotions in the conversation, then they're disconnected, and they're telepathically disconnected. Because we use more than one sense to exchange energy with someone. I mean, when we talk to a person, there's an energy. Bless you. Bless you. I'll telepathically communicate. Bless you. I'm kidding. But yeah, don't actively try to use telepathy. And there's dragonflies and bees in this video. This is a wonderful spot. I hope this is a good video on telepathy for you guys. I'm not going to give away all the different ways of how to read people's thoughts or how, because that's not appropriate. If you want to, if you're a spiritual person, bless you. If you're a spiritual person, use your gifts with light and everything will happen right. If you do the wrong thing, then wrong things will happen. But you guys, any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.